bem-vindo à entrevista especial. É o meu convidado Philippe Maystadt, foi Ministro das Finanças da Bélgica, também Presidente do Comitê Interino do Fundo Monetário Internacional, Presidente do Banco Europeu de Investimento e é atualmente Presidente honorário desta instituição. Mr. Philippe, first of all, thank you for this interview. I would like to know, in your opinion, do you think that now we have euro area in chaos or with a political union?
For the moment, it's neither chaos, neither a true political union. But I hope that we will evolve towards a political union. Because from the very beginning, the monetary union is worked with a limb. There is one strong leg, the monetary leg, with one European Central Bank, with one monetary policy. But on the other side, the economic leg is much weaker, with economic policies remaining national, uncoordinated, and sometimes contradictory. At the time of the Maastricht Treaty, the assumption was that because of monetary union, the economies in the Eurozone would spontaneously converge. But we have seen the opposite. So now it's time to go further in the coordination of economic policies to ensure the good functioning of the monetary union. We need to have a true economic government. We need a true Eurozone banking supervisor. We need to have a solid crisis resolution mechanism and so on. So we need to go further towards a full-fledged monetary union, which in my view means a true political union.
Are you concerned with this debt crisis?
Of course the debt crisis is a problem, but it really can be solved if we can combine, on the one hand, the measures taken by national governments. And for example, in Portugal, it's quite clear that the government is now implementing structural reforms which will pay in the longer term. If you can combine this with a European support, and this European support should come at two levels. The financial assistance through what is today the European Financial Stability Facility, and tomorrow the European Stability Mechanism. This is assistance at the financial level, but we need also assistance at the economic level. I mean, we need to have a kind of growth pact to complement the fiscal pact. Both are necessary. We need budgetary discipline, but at the same time, we need more growth.
Which one do you prefer, austerity or growth, economic growth?
I think we need both.
We have a lot of austerity right now.
In some countries, we have no other choice than to put public finance in order. So we need budgetary discipline. But at the same time, we need more growth in Europe. It's in the common interest. It's in the interest of Germany to have more growth in the Eurozone, because Germany exports towards the other countries in the Eurozone. So it's our common interest to have more growth, and that's the reason why I really hope that beside the fiscal compact, which is necessary, we will have also a growth compact.
Do you think that the European governments could have taken different measures to deal with this crisis?
If the Stability Pact would have not been exclusively focused on budget, it would have been possible to act earlier. As you know, the Stability Pact looked only on the fiscal figures. And for example, we did not see the problems in some countries. We did not see them because we look only at the fiscal figure, the deficit and the debt. And some of these countries were among the best in the class. Ireland, Spain had excellent figure if you look only at the deficit and the debt. But at the same time, bubbles were growing, imbalances were increasing. So if we would have been able to detect this imbalance earlier, national government could have acted earlier, and it would have been less painful for the population. And that's the reason why it's important that today, beside the excessive deficit procedure, we have now an excessive imbalance procedure, which will look at the other components of economic policy, not only at the figure of the deficit and the debt, but, for example, at the evolution of the external account, at the evolution of the price of housing, and so on.
But for sure, the Euro countries need more growth policies at this moment, right?
Yes, it's what I told you. We need, besides the fiscal compact, which is necessary, we need also a growth compact. And I think that it would be possible at the European level to agree on some measures which would stimulate growth.
Can you give us an example?
Well, there are several possibilities. For example, you could decide to use part of the unspent EU budget. So, as you know, there is always a part of the EU budget which is not spent. You could use this, for example, to give an injection of capital to the European Investment Bank, which would enable the European Investment Bank to do much more to support the economy. You could use part of this to launch what is called project bonds, which would be a way to attract funds from institutional investors to finance infrastructure projects. You could also think about other measures like the launch of Eurobonds, which would be a kind of mutualization of public debt. So there are several ways you could use to stimulate growth in Europe.
Is Spain too big to fall? It's a question that everybody is asking now.
I think that it's quite possible to avoid such a crisis in Spain, but it's clear that
the austerity plan in Spain is too ambitious.
I think that the Spanish government should find quickly a solution for some banks in Spain, because a lot of uncertainty in the markets come from the situation of some Spanish banks. So if it will be possible to find a solution for the recapitalization of these banks, maybe with the assistance of the European Stability Facility, I think this would be really a good thing.
In Italy, is safer now?
As you know, in Italy, the government of Mr. Monti is implementing long overdue structural reforms, and I'm sure it will pay in Italy like in other countries.
What do you think about the possible election of Mr. Hollande? Will it bring changes to the Eurozone?
As you know, Mr. Hollande asked not for a renegotiation of the fiscal treaty. It was quite clear he would not put into question budgetary discipline, but he would ask for a complement. And what he would like is what I call a growth compact. So to complement the fiscal compact with a growth compact. So maybe the election of Mr. Hollande could open a discussion which at the end might be fruitful.
The funding of the European Investment Bank can be a good solution for investments in Europe.
I think that the European Investment Bank can support the real economy by financing productive investments. It's what the EIB did in the past, and I think it should continue to do so. But in order to keep a high level of lending volume, the European Investment Bank needs a capital injection. And this would be a possibility to use part of the unspent funds from the EU budget, to use part of them to give this capital injection to the EIB.
It makes sense to talk about a new Marshall Plan in Europe. as El País told last weekend?
Maybe it's a too big word, but I think it's really possible to put together several measures into what I call a growth compact, which would complement the fiscal compact.
Other question, by your experience at the IMF and the European Investment Bank, how can these measures help the economic growth of these countries which need help?
Certainly, if you can create conditions where it is possible to export more, and by the way, I'm quite happy to see that Portuguese exports are increasing for the moment, which is a very good signal. So you must create the condition to export more, but you must also create the condition to get more investment. And I think that in this respect, an institution like the European Investment Bank can really help to finance more investments, because to restart growth, we need more investment.
What about the ECB? Do you think that it could be other paper in all this problem? For example, in the US, we have the Fed that makes quantitative easing when it's needed.
Yes, but you know that in the Maastricht Treaty, it is forbidden for the European Central Bank to act as a lender of last resort to member states. And you should not expect a change in this.
But it could be a way, or not?
No, I think that the ECB made a very good job, that the decision to lend to banks for more than 1 trillion was a good operation. This has prevented a credit crunch. There was a real threat of credit crunch, and the fact that the ECB injected so much liquidity into the banking sector was a very good operation. But you cannot ask the ECB to do what is not allowed by the treaty. I think that in the limits of the treaty, the European Central Bank made a very good job.
But banking supervision has still problems.
I really think that we need a European banking supervisor. We have created the EBA, the European Banking Authority, but the EBA cannot really supervise banks. The EBA continues to depend on information provided by national supervisor, and it can take decision only after a very complex procedure in case of persisting conflicts between national supervisors. I think we really need a Eurozone banking supervisor. We need a unity of scope of action between three instruments: the banking supervisor, the liquidity provider, which is the ECB, and the crisis resolution mechanism, which is today the European Financial Stability Facility, tomorrow the European Stability Mechanism.
What is your opinion about the fiscal consolidation in Portugal?
I think that the Portuguese government does what is committed to, is implementing the program as it was expected, and for the moment it is really implementing some important reforms, and I'm sure that in the longer term it will pay. It's a difficult period because this type of reforms, and we have seen this in many other countries, these structural reforms in the short term quite often have a negative impact, but they give much bigger benefits in the longer term. So it's a difficult period to go through. It's difficult for the population, especially for the young people, but that's the reason why we need, at the same time, to have some stimulus for the economic growth. And that's the reason why I really call for a growth compact besides the fiscal compact.
Will Portugal avoid another financial help? Maybe next year, September?
It's difficult to answer to your question because nobody knows exactly what could happen in the next year. But what I can say is that the Portuguese government is taken all the measures which were agreed upon in the fiscal program. So I think that you cannot ask more from a government than to implement what is committed to.
Mr. Philippe Maystadt, thank you for this interview. Ponto final nesta entrevista especial, cujo tema não poderia ser mais atual: Zona Euro, caos ou União Política e Monetária.